Hello everyone! Today I am going to be starting a new series on how to crochet from the very beginning. Very basics. Anyone can learn this. First I'm going to start with talking to you about yarn. So if you take a look at any skein of yarn, whether you get it at Walmart or Hobby Lobby or Michael's or anywhere else, it's going to have the name of the yarn, and then you're going to see this right here. It's going to have all of the information on the yarn. Most of the yarns you're going to use for blankets, sweaters, scarves, and things like that are going to be 100% acrylic or an acrylic blend. That means it's going to be mostly acrylic mixed with another material. You're going to see the ounces right here, and then grams next to that, and how many yards is in a skein. If you look down here, it'll tell you this is a 4-weight medium, which is usually what most people use. Now it does have bulkier sizes and smaller sizes. I suggest, if you're just now learning, to use a 4 or higher. Now this right here tells you that it can be washed in cool water. And then right here, you'll look if you're knitting, there's the knitting needle sizes it suggests, and here is the crochet needle sizes it suggests. So either an I or a 5.5 millimeter. You can always use smaller or bigger if your tension isn't what you would like it to be, or if you just want a looser pattern, that is an option as well. And this one is, I love this yarn, and the color Float Along if you do like this yarn. Today I'm going to be showing you on a more solid color. I don't have the paper for this one, but this is just a Red Heart ombre, a 4-weight, and it's the green apple. And it is 100% acrylic as well. So let's say you find a lovely yarn, you just love it so much, and you get it. The next thing you're going to need is a crochet hook. So a crochet hook is very different from knitting needles. If you have knitting needles, a knitting needle is long and it comes to a point at the end, and that's 2 in a set. A crochet hook is just one hook, and it is literally a hook on the end, and they're very short and they're easy to work with. This one is a size I, which I believe is a 5.5, which is the recommended size for a 4-weight. I usually use a little bit bigger, but for this I'm going to be using an I. So you will need your crochet hook, and then you will need a pair of scissors towards the end of whatever project you're working on to cut the tail off. And the tail is just referencing to the end of the yarn that hangs off. So you'll have a beginning tail and an end tail. And some people like to use a, it's kind of like a sewing needle, but it's for crocheting and knitting to tuck their ends in or weave their ends in. I, a lot of times, just use my crochet hook, but either way it can work for you. Now to begin, you are going to need to know how to do a slip knot. So a slip knot is very easy. It's what you start off all your chains with. It literally slips to just the size of any hook, and it's very easy to do. I know I did it kind of fast there, but I'm going to show you very slowly. So you literally just cross over the yarn like that. You're going to pull your loop over the side of the yarn that is coming out of your skein of yarn, and you're going to pull this middle string up like that and pull down on your tail, and that is your slip knot. So let's try that again. You're going to loop your thread like this, go over the side that has the attachment to the actual skein of yarn, pull it through while holding your tail. There we go. One more time, I'm going to show you. You make your loop, which is just a simple loop, just cross it over. You're going to flip it onto the side which is connected to your skein, which skein is just reference to your ball of yarn, whatever you would like to call it. And you're just going to pull that middle loop up while holding your tail. This is your tail. Okay, So next thing you need to learn is how to do a chain. So once you have your slip stitch down, you're going to insert your hook, pull it to make it tight around the hook. You're going to hold your tail under your hook, and you bring your yarn around your hook and pull it through the loop that's on your hook. And that makes a chain. So let me get a little bit closer so you can see it better. You just bring your yarn around your hook, which is called yarning over. You're going to catch it with the hook, pull it through the loop, and make another loop. So you just yarn over, hook it, pull it through, and that's it. And that's how you make a chain. So you're going to yarn over, pull it through the last loop, and make a new loop. Yarn over, pull it through the last loop and make a new loop. Yarn over, pull it through the last loop and make a new loop. Yarn over, pull it through the last loop and make a new loop. And that is what your chain will look like. It looks very much like a braid. You're going to have the top and the bottom loops and the back humps on your chain. And this is your tail. Now you're gonna continue to show you how to make the chain. You're going to yarn over and pull it through the last loop. Yarn over, pull it through the last loop. I know a lot of people crochet like this, where they just use the hook to wrap it around and then pull it through. And you can do that if it's comfortable for you. For me, I don't like to do that. I do wrap it around the finger, but I don't hold my finger up. And I just kind of hold it in my pinky to keep my tension right. So this is what mine looks like. I hold it with my pinky, and I like to physically bring my yarn around with my hand like that. But if it is more comfortable for you to do it like this, you just grab the loop with your hook and pull it through, and that makes a chain. So here is our chain to begin with. And it's very easy to count the chains. I just go and count the top loop of every single one to see how many I have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We have 18 chains here. And when you're doing a project, I'm going to show you single crochets first. You do not count the first loop from your hook. So you don't count this one. You're going to go straight into the second one. So for single crochet, you're going to go straight into the top of that loop. So here is the second one from the hook. You're going to go straight into the top of that, and you should have the 2 loops on the back, which is going to be the back and the bottom loops. You're going to yarn over and pull through that loop, and you're going to have 2 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over again and pull through both loops, and that is a single crochet. So let's try that again. You find your next hook, or your next chain. So not this one, because that is the one, it's pulled so it's open, it's easy to see. That's the one that you just worked into. The next one is going to be this one right here. You just go through the top loop of that, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through, then there'll be 1. So next chain, insert through the top, yarn over, pull through, there we go. Find your next chain right here, and you're going to insert into the top of that chain, yarn over, have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through. Find your next chain, insert, yarn over, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. And this is what it should look like. You're going to have the 2 loops on the bottom. There is the stitch you just made, and then this is the bottom loops from the chain. So you just put your hook in, pull through, yarn over, Find your next stitch. This one I did kind of tiny. You do want to try to keep your chain as even as possible. I just ended up with one really small one probably when I was showing you the different ways to hold it. So you just find your next stitch, put through the top loop, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through. Find your next stitch, go through the top loop, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both, all the way across your project. And one thing when I was first learning that I like to do is to just buy like a random skein of scarf that I like. I really like the ombre ones from Red Heart. So I'd buy one of those and I would do a scarf out of all the different stitches that I was learning. So like a couple rows would be the single crochet, a couple rows would be another stitch, and I just did that until I had a full scarf, and then I was confident enough to try an actual project. So if you're following along with me, you can just do single crochets all the way down your chain. And I will show you how to turn on a project that you are just doing single crochets on. And I'm trying to do this kind of slow, but you can feel free to rewind where I'm explaining it more if you're not catching on yet. And that was our last stitch, and here is that slip knot. So there is our row of single crochets. That's the front, that's the back. And what you're going to do if you're just making like a scarf or a blanket out of single crochets, or just doing a couple rows of single crochets, you're going to then yarn over and pull through, and that's a chain 1. So you chain 1, you turn your work around just like that, and you're going to not go into the chain 1 because that's the one on your hook, but going to the last stitch that you just made, and you're going to go through both the top loops. So when you look at your stitch, if you flip it this way, there's top loops. You're going to go right under both of the top loops for the last stitch of the previous row, yarn over and pull through. You're going to have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through. So that's just another single crochet. So if you're looking at it like this, there's the top loops. If you're looking at it like this, it's just a teeny tiny hole right there that you're just going to put your hook through. And then you yarn over, pull through. There is the next stitch. You just insert your hook beneath both loops, yarn over, and work your single crochet. And you're going to do that all the way down if you're following along with me. So we're just finding our last stitch. And I feel like I'm probably going to keep this sample and continue working on it as I show you guys the different stitches, and I'm going to go ahead and make a scarf of different stitches with you guys. So let me know in the comments if you think that you would like that, to see all the different stitches together, or if you would just like me to start over on a new sample. So you're going to find your next stitch, pull through, and you're going to do that all the way down to the very last stitch from the last row. And we are at our last stitch. You're going to go through the top 2 loops, through just like the rest, and there is your 2 rows of single crochets. So just like before, at the end of this one, we're going to yarn over and chain 1. Then you turn, and it is the same every time with a single stitch. That is how you will start your new row, start and end your rows. And just like before, it's going to be the same. You're just going through the top 2 loops. And here is what your 3 rows, if you're following along with me, 3 rows of single crochets should look like finished. It doesn't build up very quickly, but it is very tight and pretty. If you were in a state that gets colder weather, that would be nice. I live in Florida, so it gets pretty hot here, and it's kind of too hot to use blankets most of the year that don't have the bigger holes in them, but I will be showing that in another video. Please leave a like, a subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications for when I post, and I hope you enjoyed.